Bush School. Mother Nature welcomes you. Join us in a world that's new. Open up your eyes. Bush School. Animals in camouflage. How they breed and feed and thrive. Learn how they survive. Discover the secrets of wildlife. Discover the way to be bush-wise. Bush School.
Today, we're going to deal with feeding levels. Now, Mother Nature, in her wisdom, solved the problem of any competition between the animals. She did so by designing the animals so that they fed at different levels. Can anybody tell me what the tallest animal is in the world? Cece?
The giraffe.
The giraffe, that is correct. And Mother Nature designed her so that she fed at the very top of the trees.
Today, let's find out more about the different levels that animals feed at. In a place like Londolozi, many different kinds of animals eat vegetation. There are warthogs and impala, bushbuck and kudu, duiker, steenbok and many others. At first glance, we might suppose that they all eat the same leaves or grasses. And yet, if they're competing for the same food, how do they manage to live together in such harmony? The answer is simple. Each animal feeds at a different level on the vegetation. Let's begin at the very top. The tallest animal in the world is, of course, the giraffe, and he feeds on leaves at the very tops of trees. There's only one other animal that can do that. Can you work out which one it is? At the next level down, you'll find the kudu, who feeds on leaves halfway up the tree. And male kudus can reach even higher than that, with a little help from their horns.
Here, children, it's really interesting to note that in times of drought, the kudu uses his horns to pull down branches that have green leaves on them so that he can feed. You see what he does? He takes his horn, puts it onto the thorn branch, and then he pulls it down to a lower level.
The next feeding level is occupied by the nyala, which eats leaves slightly lower down the tree than the kudu. Feeding on leaves below the nyala is the impala, which is also able to eat grass. The lowest level is occupied by the little duiker, which eats leaves from very small plants close to the ground. So you can see that even though all of these animals eat leaves, they don't compete with each other for the same leaves because they all feed at different levels. The same principle applies to animals that eat grass. The buffalo prefers eating long, rank grass. Zebra, on the other hand, prefer medium-length grass. The white rhinoceros eats short grass. His wide, flat mouth attacks the grass very much like a lawnmower. Then there's the little warthog that crops very short grass and also grubs up roots.
Here we have a beautiful example of a warthog skull. Right, and as we discussed, can you tell me whether it is a male or a female?
That's a male.
How can you tell?
Because it's not very, his horn is not very, it's not hooked like the female. It's longer aft.
That's right. It is a male, and we can tell it is a male because of its really large, distinctive display tusk. Bronwyn, this is called a tusk, not a horn. It's got a lovely, gentle sweep to it. Can anybody tell me what this tusk here is called?
And the working tusk.
Very good. It's called the working tusk. Feel along here, TD. It is very, very sharp.
Ow.
Do you know how he keeps it so sharp?
Rubbing it. Rubbing it with the other one.
That's right. Constantly rubbing it up against the working tusk. And it facilitates in cutting vegetation, which he then passes through and into the mouth, and he grinds them down with the molars. See? Like that.
Have you thought about the question I asked earlier in the program? What other animal can feed at the same level as the giraffe? Oh, here's your answer. The elephant is able to feed at all levels, thanks to its trunk. And it can knock down trees in order to feed on those leaves that are beyond the reach of its trunk and beyond the reach of even the tallest giraffe. Elephants also eat grass by plucking it out of the ground with their trunks. He can eat fruit that has fallen to the ground. And he can uproot trees in order to get at their roots.
You must watch out for thorns, children.
Look, look.
What do you think happened to this tree?
Maybe elephant. Elephant. I think elephant's been here.
That's right. An elephant has been feeding off the bark of this Acacia nilotica tree. Can anybody tell me how he gets the bark off the tree?
He's tusks.
That's right. Oh, look here. Look at this. Okay. Pass it to me. Let's try and put this together. Oh, look here. There is the tusk of the elephant, right? Now he obviously uses his... Which tusk is this?
Working.
His working tusk. And as we prefer to write with our left or our right hand, the elephant prefers to use one specific tusk. His working tusk to remove the bark off the tree.
So he can eat it.
Why do you think he likes the bark?
Because it's easy to pull off.
No, it is full of nutrients and nutrition necessary for the elephant's diet. What do you think would happen if he took all of the bark off this tree?
It would die.
He would ring bark the tree and the tree would die. Here we have a wonderful demonstration of the different feeding levels of the different animals. From the very highest, medium level and low level feeders. Cece, you're a giraffe, and where do you feed from?
From the top of the tree.
From the very top of the tree. And Simon, who are you?
And Yala.
And you are a what level feeder?
I'm a middle level feeder.
Very good. And Bronwyn, who are you?
I'm a bushback and I'm below the Nyala.
Very good. And this chap here, Adam, who are you?
I'm the lowest level. The lowest level.
The lowest level feeder, and you are a little?
Diker.
A little diker. So this demonstrates that lots of different animals all exist off the land harmoniously because nature has provided that they feed at different levels. Come on, let's go.
There's a big drama.
Will you leave us a world where no rhinos run? Will you leave us a world where no whales swim? Will you leave us a world that is scorched by the sun? Will you leave us a world? What kind of world? Will you leave us a world where the forests are gone? Will you leave us a world where no rivers run? Will you leave us a world with 10 billion strong? Will you leave us a world? What kind of world? You can make it a world where the rivers flow clean and wildlife runs free on an earth that is green. Let them know that you care. Be alive, be aware, in a world that together we share. This kind of world, what kind of world? Your Bush School. Mother Nature welcomes you. Join us in a world that's new. Open up your eyes. Bush School. Animals in camouflage. How they breed and feed and thrive. Learn how they survive. Discover the secrets of wildlife. Discover the way to be bush-wise. Bush School.
What animal is the tallest in the world?
The giraffe.
And being so tall, what is the advantage?
It feeds where the others can't.
That's right. In times of drought, he can survive when other animals are competing at a lower level. The giraffe feeds on the leaves from the very top of the tree. So his unique advantage is his height.
6 subspecies of giraffe, including okapi, exist in Africa, of which the reticulated, which inhabits the drier areas of East Africa, is perhaps the most attractive. The giraffe is the tallest animal in the world, the males reaching a height of 5.5 meters, and the females 4.5 meters. The name comes from the Arabic word khirafa, which means the one who walks swiftly.
Okay, let's compare the female giraffe with that of the male. Starting here with the horns. They are true horns. The female's horns are long, slender, with little tufts of hair at the very top. Compare that to the males, which are a lot thicker, with no tufts of hair. Now, the male giraffe, as it gets older, you will notice the spots become a lot darker. And the male is always much larger than that of the female.
Many millions of years ago, the giraffe's ancient ancestors had short necks, just like other animals.
Now, coming down to this diagram, you just automatically assume that the giraffe, because of the length of its neck, had so many more vertebrae than any other animal. It's interesting that it has exactly the same amount of vertebrae as the human. The top 2 vertebrae here are flexible vertebrae. Now, this enables the giraffe to move its neck freely. The rest are rigid.
When they move, they are perhaps the most elegant and graceful animals on Earth. Their gait is very like that of the camel, in that the legs on each side of the body move together. With their long legs, they can reach up to 56 kilometers an hour at a gallop. But their size makes them awkward, and they can hardly jump at all. The highest fence a giraffe has been recorded clearing was only a meter high. Height can be an advantage when crossing a river. But should a giraffe fall, it has to struggle to get back on its feet. And sometimes, as in this case, it dies in the attempt. The body and limbs are covered in large, irregularly shaped patches of color, divided from one another by a network of light-colored bands. This mosaic blends with the bush as a good camouflage. Most large animals have special mechanisms by which they thermoregulate. That means they control their temperature. It seems that the giraffe's patches act as windows through which it dissipates heat. The giraffe's main predators are lion and occasionally hyena. The young in particular fall prey to them. However, giraffe are not defenseless. The adult has a devastating kick that can kill a lion, and as long as this calf remains close to its mother, it will be safe. Giraffes are mostly social animals, though one sometimes finds bulls on their own. These will join with the herds when a female is ready for mating. Should there be more than one male competing for the female, they will fight by battering each other with their great necks. Notice, however, that they don't kick during fighting, as they do when attacked by a predator. The winner gets the lady. Here he tests her urine to see if she is ready for mating. Sometimes he must follow her for several days before she will consent to the mating. After a gestation period of 15 months, one calf arrives, though occasionally twins are born. The calf emerges head and feet first and comes into the world with a bang as the mother gives birth standing up. The drop breaks the umbilical cord. Fortunately, there's usually no damage to the calf. It can stand within 5 minutes, suckle and walk within an hour. The female chases other giraffes away so that the calf bonds only to her. This is when it is most vulnerable, so for the first few weeks of the baby's life, it remains close to the mother, browsing nearby. They are extremely selective browsers, and much of their favorite foods are the thorny acacia species. They strip off the leaves with rubbery lips and an incredibly long tongue, up to 45 centimeters long. That's the length of a man's forearm. Giraffes are ruminants. That means their stomachs are divided into 4 sections. In the first of these, bacteria break down the tough fiber in their food, and to assist in this operation, giraffes chew the cud. A giraffe can go for 3 days without water, but they will drink regularly when water is available. They do this by lowering their great necks, but even this is not enough to allow them to reach the water. So they have to spread their legs. In this position, their heart is high above their head, and there is a danger that high blood pressure could damage their brain. So, a series of sponge blood vessels in the neck retard the flow of blood to the brain. It is at this time that they are prone to being attacked by lions. So, as one drinks, another keeps watch. Because of its long neck and legs, a giraffe finds it difficult to groom itself. Although they sometimes groom each other, it also has an interesting relationship with the red-billed oxpecker. This bird removes ticks and parasites from it, and in return for its food, the alert oxpecker often warns the giraffe of approaching danger with its raucous call. Because of its height and excellent eyesight, the giraffe is a favorite for other animals to associate with, and it is quite common to see several different shorter animals feeding next to giraffe for safety.
So today, what have we learnt from the uniqueness of the giraffe? We've learnt that in our lives, if we're blessed with some unique physical attribute, perhaps an idea, a concept, or a design, even if circumstances change, we can survive.
Will you leave us a world where no rhinos run? Will you leave us a world where no whales swim? Will you leave us a world that is scorched by the sun? Will you leave us a world? What kind of world? Will you leave us a world where the forests are gone? Will you leave us a world where no rivers run? Will you leave us a world with 10 billion strong? Will you leave us a world? What kind of world? You can make it a world where the rivers flow clean and wildlife runs free on an earth that is green. Let them know that you care. Be alive, be aware, in a world that together we share. This kind of world, what kind of world? Your kind of world, our kind of world. us in a world that's new. Open up your eyes. Bush School. Animals in camouflage. How they breed and feed and thrive. Learn how they survive. Discover the secrets of wildlife. Discover the way to be bush-wise. Bush School.
What animal gathers in large herds, eats grass, is not part of the antelope or cow family?
Wildebeest.
No. I'll give you another clue. It is in fact part of the horse family.
Zebra.
Right. The zebra's markings are a lot more ingenious than they seem. They are part of its camouflage. They are also used as a form of identity within the herd. They are a flight mechanism, and they assist the zebra in cooling itself. Now today, let's see if we can unravel some of the secrets behind the stripes of the zebra. In Africa, we have quite a few varieties of zebra. We have the grevies, we have the Burchells, and the mountain zebra. Now you'll see each of these zebras have a different stripe pattern. In fact, some of the zebras have a shadow stripe. Now that is a brown tinge just on the white stripe between the white and the black.
Burchell zebra is the most widely spread zebra in Africa. It is found from the Orange River in the south up to East Africa in the north. In the drier areas of East Africa, one finds the handsome, though less numerous, Grevy's zebra. One species of zebra has completely disappeared.
Down here we have a picture, in fact one of the last pictures of the quagga. The quagga resembled the zebra that we know and used to roam the Cape Flats in Africa in the early days in large numbers. Now this last one died in the Amsterdam Zoo just before the turn of the last century. And the sad part was the government passed a law to protect this animal after it had gone extinct.
Zebras are grazers. They have both upper and lower front teeth and tough, rubbery, prehensile lips. They're able to handle rank, medium to tall grass. In fact, very often you find them together with wildebeest because they feed off similar grasses and because the zebra shortens it and so creates ideal conditions for the wildebeest. Zebra will also be found at salt licks, getting the minerals they need. Unlike the wildebeest, which has 4 compartments in its stomach system and has to chew the cud, the zebra has a single stomach and therefore digests the grass much quicker. Perhaps this is why one seldom sees a thin zebra. Like the wildebeest, the zebra undertake long migrations in search of grazing, often moving in single file for safety. Once, the seasonal movement was common in Africa, but today, man and his fences have blocked the traditional migratory routes, and now the last places on Earth where we can see great herds of animals on the move is in Botswana and in East Africa. Every zebra's stripe pattern is different, like our fingerprints. The stripes are also said to assist the zebra with thermoregulation, allowing them to stay out in the heat of the sun. Zebras move around in family units of 1 stallion with 3 or up to 6 mares, sometimes accompanied by sub-adults and juveniles. But when they migrate, these family units may come together to form a herd several thousand strong. The stallion will frequently call to members of his family unit should they become separated. There is constant competition amongst the stallions for leadership and this leads to fights. Powerful kicks and bites are used until one gains dominance over the other. "12 months after mating, a single foal is born. It is usually born during that time of day when predators are least active. The births are also synchronized so that a number of foals arrive at the same time. Within minutes, it can stand. Instinct urges it to suckle. It is important that the foal stays by its mother's side, and it soon memorizes her stripes, her smell, and her voice, so that it can recognize her even in a big herd. The arrival of the foals is timed to coincide with the start of the rainy season, when the grass is rich and lush. In this way, the young zebras get a good start in life before they have to face the hardships of the dry season. Adult zebras will groom each other, and on occasions, they stand head to tail to protect each other from the flies. Although they don't wallow in mud, zebras will roll in dust. They also scratch themselves on trees and logs to rid themselves of parasites. Lions are zebras' biggest enemy, stalking them in the tall grass. The lion can only run for short distances, so if the zebra sees the lion before it is within striking distance, it can outrun it, reaching a speed of 55 kilometers an hour.
Let's pretend we're lions and we're going to stalk the zebra. Tell me what you see, Boyd.
Just looks like a big blur. I can't single out any animals.
The stripes are also thought to help it escape by confusing the lions. This is because a lion is color blind and only sees in black and white. In the wild, there are many ways in which an animal can be injured, and a crippled zebra is no match for the lions. They soon remove it from the herd, and in this way, they help to keep the herd healthy and strong by eliminating the weak and sick animals.
What was so interesting today, watching the zebra feeding, was how they fed and shortened the grass for the wildebeest and the other animals, and then they moved on. Now this is what farmers call rotational grazing. Zebras have been practicing this for millions of years.
Will you leave us a world where no rhinos run? Will you leave us a world where no whales swim? Will you leave us a world that is scorched by the sun? Will you leave us a world? What kind of world? Will you leave us a world where the forests are gone? Will you leave us a world where no rivers run? Will you leave us a world with 10 billion strong? Will you leave us a world? What kind of world? You can make it a world where the rivers flow clean and wildlife runs free on an earth that is green. Let them know that you care. Be alive, be aware, in a world that together we share. This kind of world, what kind of world? Your kind of world, our kind of world. Bush School, Mother Nature in a world that's new. Open up your eyes. Bush School. Animals in camouflage. How they breed and feed and thrive. Learn how they survive. Discover the secrets of wildlife. Discover the way to be bush-wise. Bush School.
Who can tell me what a gnu is?
I think it's a newborn baby.
No, Adam, not a newborn baby. Gnu, in fact, is spelled G-N-U, and it's a wildebeest. Now, in southern Africa, we get the blue wildebeest and the black wildebeest. Now, in East Africa, we get the white bearded wildebeest. That is the one that still migrates over hundreds of kilometers. Now, why do you think they're called gnus?
Shani, I think they're called gnu's because they go new.
That's right. Exactly right. Come on, let's all practice and see what they say. Nu, oo, oo, oo,
In East Africa, at certain times of the year, hundreds of thousands of animals, many of them wildebeest, come together in what is recognized as one of the wonders of the wildlife world, the Great Migration. For countless generations, the long columns of this army of animals have moved slowly across the African savanna, driven by their need for grass and water, and guided by their ancient instincts. The journey is long and dangerous, and some die along the way, but still they come. Wildebeest prefer short, sweet grass, so they follow the buffalo and zebra that are better adapted to feed off coarse vegetation. Out on the plains, they congregate in great herds, but in bush, where the grazing is more restricted, the herds are usually smaller.
Look, there's a big bull.
Towards the end of the rains, when the animals are in peak condition, the wildebeest rutting season begins. Territories are marked with dung and by rubbing facial glands against trees and bushes. The bulls become more and more aggressive and noisy as they prepare for the coming battle for dominance. The bulls often drop to their knees as they fight for the best areas, near water and good grazing. Once they've established their dominance, they wait for the cows to pass through their territory on their way to drink or feed. 8 months after mating, the cows produce calves. 80 to 90% of the wildebeest give birth within a 3-week peak period. Their births are also timed so that they arrive just after the first rains, when the grass is young and lush. The calves are usually born in the morning, when the predators are less active. There is safety in the herd, but herds are always on the move, so the wildebeest calves struggle to stand within the first few minutes. They can run within half an hour. The calves start suckling immediately. Although some calves are killed by predators, so many are born at the same time that only a small percentage are taken. The mother recognizes her calf by its smell, later by its call. Should a young one become separated from its mother, another female will not adopt it. Because of their numbers, wildebeest are taken by all the large predators: lion, leopard, cheetah, hyena, wild dog, and crocodile. Should a wildebeest become injured, one of the predators will immediately spot the weakness and remove it cleanly and efficiently, thus ensuring the survival of the fittest. The wildebeest's main defense lies in numbers. This lioness is afraid of the massed hooves and horns of the herd. When these cheetahs isolate a young wildebeest, an older bull rescues it. Quick reactions save this wildebeest. This wildebeest stands up to two hyenas. A wild dog is no match for a wildebeest herd. Wildebeest are the nomads of the grasslands. Their never-ending search for young grass is an essential ingredient of nature's wonderful land use system. They, in turn, are food for the super predators. Wildebeest are part of the wildlife of Africa.
Today we have seen how efficient nature is. In our society, people are sick, we build hospitals, and for the aged, we have homes. In nature, these animals are quickly removed. Only the fittest will survive, and that is why nature maintains a healthy population.
Will you leave us a world where no rhinos run? Will you leave us a world where no whales swim? Will you leave us a world that is scorched by the sun? Will you leave us a world? What kind of world? Will you leave us a world where the forests are gone? Will you leave us a world where no rivers run? Will you leave us a world with 10 billion strong? Will you leave us a world? What kind of world? You can make it a world where the rivers flow clean and wildlife runs free on an earth that is green. Let them know that you care. Be alive, be aware, in a world that together we share. This kind of world, what kind of world? Your kind of world, our kind of world.
For your litter, please use the dustbin and not our river. There's a solution to pollution. Be responsible for your own litter. Our future is tomorrow's world. Nampak asks you, please, do not litter.